Hi there movie fans, and welcome to another edition of Movies. So this time I want to give you my top 10 movies from 2023. Now this is a list that may have movies missing from other people's lists, but I can only list what I've seen, and unfortunately some movies that look really good to me have not yet made it to my eyes. I haven't seen things like Anatomy of a Fall or Godzilla Minus One, Saltburn or Poor Things, for example. I'll be watching these very soon, but not in 2023, so not available for my selection. And it's not all about blockbuster movies with huge budgets for me. If I like a movie, it doesn't matter the cost or how big the stars are in it. If it's good and it captures my attention, then it's good, full stop. Now I'd just like to make a few honorary mentions that didn't quite make my 10, where we have Rye Lane, which is a movie about two strangers, a young man and a young woman, who come together while comparing stories from their recent breakups. It's about making a connection with each other in a very, very eventful day in South London. And I've got Theatre Camp, a movie made in a very similar style to Christopher Guest. So if you like Christopher Guest stuff, you'll probably like this. It's about a load of aspiring kids in a summer camp for the arts. All of these kids wanting to become performance artists. And I found this quite a laugh, made on a tight budget but well scripted and works really well. I've also got The Creator in this, which is in a war between humans and robots with AI. A secret weapon in the form of a young child is created. And it's a movie that didn't quite do it for me. I just wanted it to be better. Although I must say, it is good and it looks fantastic. It just lacks a little something that would have pushed it into my 10. And I've also got Sisu, which is set in 1944 Lapland, where a prospector, an ex-soldier, finds gold and has to avoid the Nazis as he tries to take his gold nuggets to the city. Now this is an action war film that is absolutely amazing. In a nutshell, the Nazis take his gold, not realising who they're dealing with, and they have bitten off more than they can chew. The guy is relentless in his pursuit of retaining his gold. Catch this one if you can. Don't be put off by it having subtitles, because it's more visual than talking. Now they are all good films, but as I can only pick 10, they are just out of my pick list, but only just. So coming in at number 10, I have a budget movie with a very limited release called Lola. It's made in black and white and it's set during World War II. And it's a tale of two sisters who have a machine that can see future events, so they know in advance when and where Hitler will strike. And it has a very novel approach for a film in this genre. It's quite difficult to find, but I think it's worth it. It's a hidden gem. Number 9, I have Pain Hustlers, a movie about the opioid epidemic that swept across America. It's about a woman, Liza, who's played excellently by Emily Blunt, who wants a better life for herself and her daughter. And she gets involved with a start-up pharmaceutical company and helps it to promote and sell prescription drugs. She has the drive to push the sales forward. But ultimately it's about greed until Liza gets a morality check as the company starts to take things too far. Well acted and a very interesting storyline. And remember, pain is pain. Coming in at number 8, I have The Holdovers. This is about a boarding school where a handful of students can't go home for the Christmas break. And so they have to spend their Christmas holidays on the school campus with a bad-tempered teacher played by Paul Giamatti, who is excellent. It's about three very different people and their comic misadventures during 2 snowy weeks in New England. And it's a journey as they all get to know and appreciate each other. And this could become my new go-to Christmas movie. Coming in at number 7, I have The Killer, a David Fincher classy movie about a hired assassin played by Michael Fassbender, who gets into a battle with his employers after a job goes wrong. There are some quite incredible scenes in this one, in particular at the start, as he sits patiently waiting for over a week for the right moment for the hit with precision planning. Oh, and also watch out for all of Fassbender's aliases. They're all from TV shows like, for instance, Sam Malone or Archibald Bunker and many others. Number 6. I have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is about an AI device that's super powerful and humanity threatening. And Ethan Hunt and his team must stop it getting into the wrong hands. This is an all-action movie, but this is done better than all the rest of that genre. It's visually stunning and one hell of a ride. Fast-moving, action-filled adrenaline. Cruise, again, does his own stunts, and it adds to the suspense when you watch and you know that he actually did that rather than a stuntman. It's well made and it looks absolutely fantastic. And this to me is what John Wick should look like, but alas, John Wick is a poor man's version of this and nowhere near my top 10. At number 5, I've got a documentary, and it's called Squaring the Circle, the Story of Hypnosis. And this is about Hypnosis, who were a company who designed album covers in the late 60s and throughout the 70s and 80s. It's about Storm Thorgerson and Aubrey Powell, or Poe as he's better known, with Peter Christopherson joining them. And they were the creative geniuses behind Hypnosis, as they made some of the most iconic album art ever. And I mean ever. This is a very nostalgic ride for me, as I was buying lots of records in those days, and the art was a very important part of the package. It tells the tale of how Hypnosis started, and some background info into some of the art ideas that they used. I mean, at one point, these guys were as famous as the musicians they were designing for. Hypnosis was the go-to place for your record cover design. This movie was so good, or documentary was so good and relevant to me, and the era that I grew up in. And as soon as I'd finished watching it, I just wanted to watch it again. Number 4, I have Past Lives, which is a beautiful romantic drama about 2 childhood friends who get separated when the girl's parents decide to move to another country. And it follows the path over the course of 24 years. And they stay in touch and try to keep their friendship going as they're growing up miles away from each other. They still have this special bond between them, and that flows throughout the movie. But life moves on, and it's a film about what ifs. You know, what if she hadn't moved? What if he'd visited her? What could have become of them as a couple? It's true life with missed opportunities, and when you take one path instead of another. It's done beautifully and so with a sadness about it. Number 3, I've got Killers of the Flower Moon. Now this is a 3.5 hour epic about oil being found under the Osage land and the lengths that greedy white men will go to acquire this wealth, as some of the Osage are murdered one by one, with outstanding performances by Leonardo DiCaprio, Lily Gladstone, and a magic cameo by Jesse Plemons. It's all beautifully filmed and made by a master director, Martin Scorsese, in one of his best. Don't let the runtime put you off, because this is a masterpiece. Now here we go. I was at odds as to which order to place my top two, and sometimes it depends on my mood. They're both excellent pieces of work. So I've got number 2, Oppenheimer. Now tell me, how can a 3-hour film, where half of it is in a courtroom or people being questioned sat at tables, be this good? The 3 hours flew by. This is a masterpiece. Nolan is arguably the top director at this moment. Cillian Murphy is incredible playing the role with subtlety and grace. And he's got a shot for the Best Actor Oscar this time. And we've also got Robert Downey Jr. in possibly his best acting role ever. The rest of the cast is top notch too. And there's more to this than just a bomb. So much is going on, and done in such an enthralling way that keeps you invested throughout all 3 hours. Oh, and don't forget to take in the sheets. So we come to my number 1, and this is probably quite controversial. We have The Menu, and I do like odd, quirky movies, and it's not going to be to everyone's taste, pun intended. But I love this movie. It's separated into several acts. Ralph Fiennes is a world famous chef, and his exclusive restaurant is on his own private island. And the night in question is invitation only. And there's movie stars, food critics, gastronomes, wealthy people, businessmen. And course by course, plate by plate, the story unfolds as to why they were invited to this exclusive soiree. There's a great cast, but best of all is Ralph Fiennes. And he's charming but mysterious. It's a horror thriller and very dark. And it also has some humour. This is an absolute feast, and it gets you salivating. Right, now let's have some bread. Now, I've finished with my top 10, and I'm wondering, should I swap number 1 and 2 around again? They're totally different films, but both excellent, and The Menu's not the norm and won't get as much praise as Oppenheimer, but it has something that I found very entertaining and original. Well, that's it for 2023. Let's hope there's some gems in 2024. Please subscribe. And how about you leave a list of your favourites from 2023 down below? We'd love to see your picks. We look forward to doing more reviews during 2024, and I would like to thank you very much for watching.